Oh, I'm sorry. You thought it was a video about my dog, Boomer. No, it's not. Although I'm sure you would love this. I wanted to invite you to the replay of the live Zoom class Michelle Grasek and I did a few weeks ago because not everybody could attend and the questions were amazing. So I wanted you to benefit from those questions as well. What did we talk about? Marketing and how to grow your practice. And before you decide to stop this video, please listen. We have such great TCM knowledge, but if nobody comes through our doors, we cannot help anybody. So we have to take action and grow a successful practice so we can change lives one patient at a time. This replay is going to give you a lot of actionable tips. And if you wanted more, there are 2 courses below, one from Michelle and one masterclass from me in case you needed more. But I have to say that the tips that we shared in this live are going to be very useful if you take action. Let me know what action you will be taking in the comments below. That's accountability, my friend. And I truly hope you enjoy this. Boomer and I send you lots of love because after all, Boomer and you are rock stars.
Welcome, everyone. So I guess I'll get us started. So my name is Michelle Grasek. If we haven't met before, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I am an acupuncturist in the Finger Lakes region of New York. So I always like to tell people that I'm closer to Canada than New York City. I'm only about an hour and a half from Canada and 5 hours from New York City. So just to give you a perspective. And I teach marketing to other acupuncturists. I've been doing that for, 11 years now, in person and online. And I have a podcast called Acupuncture Marketing School. So you can find it on Apple and Spotify. I'd love if you tuned in. And yeah, Clara and I wanted to get together today and do a marketing Q&A. And you guys did not disappoint. We had over 200 people register. We have hundreds of questions submitted. So I have compiled a spreadsheet. If you have ever listened to the podcast before, you know how much I deeply love spreadsheets. And so once Clara introduces herself, I can pull up the spreadsheet and we can dive in.
I'm Clara. If you don't know me, I'm from AcuPro Academy, which is my platform online, but I'm also a practitioner, licensed practitioner in Canada, Vancouver, just a little bit in the suburbs of Vancouver, not Vancouver itself. I've been practicing since 2003. I love to teach. I taught at 2 colleges at one point, and it's something I'm passionate about. However, teaching TCM is fantastic. Practicing TCM becomes a problem for a lot of people. So we know TCM and we get excited and we want to change the world and we want to go out there and we open our practice and there's crickets or it's struggles or it's just like we have a few patients and then we have nobody. And I have to say in my school and in a lot of schools, they don't teach you that part. They don't teach you the business part. They teach you TCM, which is great because we need that. However, without understanding how to promote our services, then we can't change the world. We can't help people because nobody knows about us or what we do or what we can do to help them. So I'm really passionate about helping practitioners showcase their ability to help the world with this medicine that I absolutely, if you know me, love and are passionate about because I can just shout it out in every rooftop and on all over social media. I also have a podcast called the AcuPro Show. If you guys don't know about it, we talk a lot about TCM and I get a lot of guests and we get to geek out on TCM. So I'm a TCM geek. And I'm super stoked to be here to be able to provide value because when I first started practicing, I had 0 patients and it was a struggle. But then I went and I learned everything I could learn about business in order to grow my practice. And I went from 0 patients to 40 plus patients a week in the first 6 months. And that was many moons ago. So I really want you guys to be able to do the same thing and not struggle because if you worry about finance, you can't focus on your patients and everything just crumbles and it sucks. Who wants that? So we're both here to answer your question and give you the best advice and tips that you can take action. So being here is great. You took action. Second is take action out of here right away. Let's go.
So the first question on the spreadsheet is from Annalisa, and she asks how to engage on Instagram. How can we engage our audience on Instagram? So I'll let you take that one away because you are the queen of social media. I don't feel like Clara talks about this enough, but she has a combined 700,000 social media followers across all platforms. And that's just mind-blowing to me. So just a little shout out that you really know what you're talking about. So I'll let you take it away.
I think it's because I enjoy it, because this is how I met you. We met on
Yes.
Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Like we've never met with Michelle. So what I love is I feel very lonely without people. Like I'm in the suburbs and I do have a couple of people that I went to school with that we meet, but everybody's always so busy and it's so hard to meet all the time. And a lot of other people that I know that are practitioners that I really love, that I went to school with, are in other places. So to be able to connect with people that love TCM as much as I do online, that has been so fun for me to really exchange ideas, exchange questions and answers, and see what people are struggling with, because my whole purpose of being online was to help people. So even if it's for diagnosis, for learning better, for retaining information, for whatever it is, right? And so when it comes to social media, you have to pick one platform that you really enjoy. Don't go everywhere. I'm everywhere because now I can, but at the beginning, I just took Facebook and that's all I was doing. Like when I first started, I did Facebook, that was it. Then I went YouTube, then I went Instagram. So it was like one step at a time. My favorite now is definitely, I love to be on Instagram. So it's one of my favorite because just the way the interaction is a lot of fun. When you want engagement on social media, pick the platform. So I'll pick Instagram just because we got to pick something. And if that's where your people are. So the first thing you do is you need to go engage with people. If you don't engage with people, how are they going to engage with you? So this is how we do it. You go in your area, you go at all the businesses that are in your town. So it could be the yoga place, the gym, it could be the chiropractor down the road, it could be a massage therapist, it could be the wellness center, it could be the shop that sells all the supplements and all that. It could be anything. It doesn't have to necessarily be related to wellness. It could be the flower shop, right? Go on their Instagram and start commenting, sharing their stuff in your stories if you like it. Don't share something you don't like. But go and comment. This is social. Be social, right? And then you start commenting, follow them, like really engage with your community, and they're going to come back to you. And then when they're looking for someone, or someone is asking them, hey, do you know an acupuncturist? Oh yeah, there's one on Instagram that always comment on me. Let me see who she is or who he is. And then here's the link, right? So you got to engage first. That's the first thing. And then share and then give. When you give, it comes back. Don't wait to get something. No expectation, just give. Eventually the boomerang effect, it does come back. So that's how you get engagement. The second thing is consistency. Decide if you want to post twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever it is. Once you committed, commit to that. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's when I want to do it. So commit to be consistent. Repurpose, meaning look at your Instagram. Whatever is doing really well, 3 weeks to 6 weeks to 9 weeks later, repost it. You know how many times I've reposted things? Some people were like, oh, I love this. I'm like, you've never seen this? I've posted 7 times. But that's the thing of social media. Not everybody sees your post, right? And you know that. Because if you got 500 followers and you get 10 views, you know that not everybody has seen it, right? So repurpose. That'll save you time. Schedule it to go again 6 weeks later. The second thing is, if you're going to be consistent, let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, have some fun stuff. Don't say, I see this a lot. Oh, I have an appointment open at 3:30 today. This is really rare that someone's going to see that is a patient of yours that has the 3:30 open, right? Give value. Explain, educate. You see what I do. If you've seen my Instagram or my social media, if you haven't, go check AcuPro Academy. I just educate. Just show something. Show a point and say, this point does this. You don't even have to speak. You can just say, hey, this is the best point for sleep. And you can just stand there and have the caption that says best point for sleep and some music. It doesn't have to be complicated. You could use Canva to create posts if you wanted to, but don't make it complicated, right? Just be consistent with it. Engage with other people, right? Go in their DM and say, I love what you do. This is awesome. Share this stuff. Engage with people. When people DM you or comment, this is what I found fascinating. People that have 200 followers, I'll go in there and make a comment, no answer whatsoever. And I'm like, do you not want to grow? I made a comment there and I said something. If I walked at the store next to you and then you have a beautiful dress and I say to you, wow, that's a beautiful dress. I love purple. It's my favorite color. Would you just look at me and walk away? No, you would say, oh, thank you very much. You would say something. So when someone puts a comment, answer that comment. It values them. They feel valued. It's really important. I try to answer most comments because I get a lot. Eventually, sometimes I miss some, but if you've been around, you know that most of the time, even if I have to say thank you, I try to answer every comment, right? So I really try my best for that. Make sure when you have DMs to really answer using people's name. That's another thing. You really want to engage with people and pay attention. So if someone comes in and say, hey, Clara, can you give me this? Do you have this? I look at their name. If their name is on the handle and I'm like, yes, Angela, I have it here. Here's the link. Enjoy. Let me know if you have questions. If I don't have, I go on their handle and I try to look for their name. And sometimes their name is not there, which that's a problem. So make sure you put your name somewhere so people know you are a person that they can connect with. So hopefully that's a little bit of a snippet for engagement, and hopefully that puts you on a good start.
Definitely agree about the reaching out to small business owners on Instagram. I have found that using Instagram for business to business networking is a really nice way to connect. It feels really good and it lets you be very selective with the networking that you're doing, right? And the energy that you have. So you can pick the yoga studios or the nutritionists that you really want to work with and just start commenting on their posts, on their reels, their stories, and eventually you'll probably feel comfortable enough where you can send them a DM and like actually introduce yourself and say, hey, could we collaborate or whatever it is that you're looking for. But yeah, I think it's social media is such a great equalizer, right? It allows you to send a message to someone that you might never have access to in real life. So it is a beautiful place to connect.
Just a fun fact. I
Yeah.
love what you said because I got a DM from Sharon Stone. And if you're not, if
What?
you're young, you don't even know who Sharon Stone is.
Sharon
But if you're
Stone.
not, Sharon Stone was a big actress in the 90s, Fatal Attraction, everybody. Oh my God. I got a DM from her about 3, 4 years ago. So I just wanted to say that's exactly it. That
Great
on those
equalizer.
platforms, you can actually equal with people that you never thought you could speak to, which is mind blowing. So I just want to say that she literally sent me thing saying, I love what you do. And I went to check because I'm like, that can't be, that's a fake Sharon Stone, you know, those,
Right.
yeah. And no, it's the blue check mark. She's got millions of followers. And then I went on the link and it's totally her and her team. I assume, obviously, it's not just her, but yeah, that blew me away. Anyway.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. Claudie asks, how can I get started marketing as a newly graduated student? I think this is such a good question because a lot of people are moving to brand new areas where they're not established, they didn't grow up there, their spouse isn't from there, so they have no connections. So there's three things that I think are really important when you just graduated and you have no patience, right? So the first is to try to get out in the community as much as you can manage. I know a lot of people in acupuncture are introverts, right? So do this to your energy level. So get out in the community and meet people, right? Because what we're doing is with acupuncture so unique. We're touching people, we're asking them for really personal information, like their health information, and we're putting sharp objects in them. So we have to build a lot of trust in our marketing, and meeting people in person is a really great way to build trust quickly. And so I always tell people if you hate the idea of networking meetings, that's okay. You could volunteer. You could find a meetup that you really like. You could host a wellness book club in your office once a month and make it a public Facebook event and just invite community members. But try to get in front of the real life people in your community in person if you can. The second thing I recommend is creating a giant spreadsheet of local businesses within a, we'll say, a half-mile radius. It depends on if you're in a really crowded area or a rural area, and then email everyone on that list just to introduce yourself. And the idea here is that you can't help people if they don't know you exist, right? So how can we rapidly increase your visibility in your community? And one way to do that is make this big spreadsheet of all the local businesses and message them all. Email them all, just really friendly. I'm new in the area, building a business, and I'd love to make some connections with other business owners. Those emails are generally very well received. And the last thing I recommend is hosting an open house and inviting everyone that you know, but being really brave and inviting all of those business owners on your list as well, right? So that you're not just getting your family and friends who come and support you. You want to get people who might actually become your patients. So I find that those are 3 steps that are really helpful to get you started in a new area. What about you, Clara?
Yeah, I love what you shared. And I'll just add up one of the things that I did. And that is I want to warn you, big, uncomfortable. And I'm introverted too. A lot of people don't think so because I'm online. But when it comes to being around people, I'm definitely more introvert. And there's a spectrum on that. And so there's 2 ways to do it. I did it because you may have not enough money for this, but I did a couple of things where I went and got a massage from a person in my area, right? And while I was on the table, I said, hey, I'm an acupuncturist, blah, blah. What I said was, I would love to offer you a free treatment so you could see what I do. And if you like what I do and you think your patients can benefit from it, then I would love for you to recommend patients to me. Now, every time you recommend a new patient, I will give you a free treatment. So that's what I did. You can also walk in, which I did too. I went to see chiropractors, I went to see massage therapists, I went to see physiotherapists, and I said the same thing. And here's the answer: no, 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 yes. You need 1 yes. The law of numbers, someone will say yes. So the no is very discouraging and it's very deflating. But it's not it's not personal. It's like, they're not interested. That's not their thing. Okay, it's okay. So that one person said yes and came for a treatment, loved the treatment, started sending me patients and got free treatment every week for weeks and weeks. But literally, she billed half of my practice. So then it's my job to retain those patients, to wow them, to give them more than they expect, to really give them above and beyond and go the extra mile for them to tell everybody else to come and see me. So that's what I did. So I know it's not easy to do that, but boy, oh boy, if you found that one person, they get a frigging free treatment. Now, if you work in a wellness center with a bunch of other people, give a free treatment to the practitioners there. That's easy. They're right there. Then they know what you do and they can refer to you. If you're on your own, that's what I did because I was on my own to start with. Then I was in the wellness center because I went and expanded. But so that's my one.
I always tell my marketing students that you have to get through a certain percentage of no's before you get a yes. And I appreciate that you said it's not personal, right? Because it feels very personal to us, but it is not. And Erica had a really good question in the chat. She said, what would an open house look like? So what I recommend for an open house is to advertise that you're going to do an acupuncture demonstration, because I find that most open houses, we tell people, come to my office, meet the acupuncturist, tour the office, eat some snacks. And truly, is that enough motivation for someone to put on their nice pants and leave their house? And it's a nice idea, but often it's not enough. And so that's why we end up with 10 people, and it's mostly our family and friends, which is great, but they're not going to become paying patients. I find that when people say on their like open house invitation, I'm going to do a free mini treatment or demonstration for whatever their specialty is or whatever they love to treat, like a knee pain treatment or an example of a fertility treatment, that gets the attention of people who are genuinely curious and interested in becoming patients. Those people are on the cusp of becoming patients, and all they really need is to see the treatment in person, see how relaxed your volunteer patient is, which could be like your mom or your spouse or a friend, and then they can easily picture themselves in your space getting a treatment. Okay. One of the best things you can do is let people know you'll be doing a free treatment at your open house. So Bethany asks, what is the best way to reach a wider audience without using social media? Thoughts, Clara?
I always think of the yin and yang, and yin is internal, yang is external. So if you're not going to use social media, your website better be like amazing. right? What do people that land on your website, which has to have great SEOs, which means keywords when people are going acupuncture Chicago, then you have to come up, which means those keywords have to be part of the website. So your website, when people land on it, let's say they Google you and they might look on the map, right? So make sure you also, your practice is listed under business in Google or business Googles. You want to make sure you come up on the map. It's listed. You can do this on Google. It's completely free, and then you'll come up and people can put reviews, etc. Your website, when people land on it, they need to know three things. Can you help them with their problem? Who are you? They want to know who you are. And how much is it going to cost them? So you do have to be transparent. Michelle and I both agree that prices should be put up, because there is no point making somebody phoning you returning the call for them to ask how much does it cost. It's a waste of time for everybody. Either they can afford or they can't, right? It's just the way it is. Maybe they're covered, maybe they're not covered by insurance, but you want to put your prices, you want to put who you are, which means when you give your bio, it should not be just about your credential, which they do have to be there, but it's about who you are too. Like maybe you love music, you're a musician, people that do music are going to love you. I'm French, I get people to come and see me because I'm French, and they're not French, they just love French food, or they went to Paris and they loved it. And so it could be anything. But if you say things that are a bit personal, people can relate to you. If you had a journey with health where you struggle and TCM helped you, please share that. This is the best thing, because that connects with people. And then they want to know if you can help them. So in your website, I would now recommend to put some nice little acupuncture dolls or photos of acupuncture. Put something that is asking people a question. So if you like to treat pain, I would say something like, are you loving to exercise, but you get injured? How do you recover fast? Acupuncture can help. Are you trying to conceive, but you haven't been able to be successful? Did you know acupuncture can help with fertility? Ask a question, answer that question, right? Or put a before and after. Put a picture of someone running next to someone that is injured and say, do you get injured easily? Did you know acupuncture recovery time is easier when you use acupuncture, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, I do a lot of women's health, so I put a lot of that into it. But you could put someone holding their head like this and say, do you get chronic headaches? Have you tried acupuncture? Simple. Do you get chronic headaches? Have you tried acupuncture? It should be about them, not about you or acupuncture, beautiful dolls that we love to see, or the ancient text and everything else. It should be about the person. Think of a dentist. A dentist never puts pictures of the instrument in the mouth. I would not like that. They put a beautiful smile, but it's always something that is going to stop you and make you want to go. They don't show you the needles, don't show you needles. It's just a lot of people are scared of needles, so there's no point putting that. They know you use needles, you're an acupuncturist. So talk about them. So that's how you open up with a wide audience, is using your website, because that's outside if you don't want to do social media, right? That's the external part. Internal part, if you work with other people, then definitely use those people in that practice. Like I said, share treatment, ask them to come for a free treatment so they know what you're doing, right? Internal part is every time you have a new patient, treat them like gold. Call them, ask them how they felt after treatment. Really make sure that they're so happy. They're going to recommend, like, I have a patient that came to see me years ago. She came to see me, loved the treatment. I treated her for a few weeks, started referring. I now literally have seen 26 people of her family. I literally know everything they do at Christmas, because they all come and we had the Christmas dinner because they all get together. And so treat your patients like gold. Pay attention. Oh, my son has a soccer tournament. When they come back, how was the tournament? Pay attention. That is how patients relate to you, connect with you, and will come and refer. Your patients are your best referral train. So those are the two first things I'll start with, because I can go on forever.
I would add to the website, especially if you're not doing social media, because that's a really great way to get visible, right? So if you're not doing that, you do want to make sure that the search engine optimization on your website is strong. And you also want to make sure that you have an email opt-in box on your website so that you can collect the information of people who are interested, but maybe they're not ready to make an appointment. And then you can market to them, and it's like nurturing them and educating them through your email newsletter. That's huge. Okay. So that's definitely a great way to reach a wider audience, is collect emails on your website. And another way that you can reach a wide local audience is to think about basically public relations or PR. So if you are feeling really brave, it's actually very easy to get on local television. Let's take a step back. So let's think about all the other places where you might be able to be featured to a wide local audience. So there's radio, there's like local podcasters and local TV stations, local YouTubers, etc. So you're basically doing some work, some research to see if any of them might be interested in hosting you. Are you a good fit for the topics that they talk about? So an example would be that there is a local, they call themselves a podcast, but it's actually a YouTube live stream in my community. They're very well known, and they are in the office building upstairs from my office. And years ago, I was very scared to ask, but I would always see the guy who ran the YouTube stream in the elevator. And finally, I was like, hey, Jim, do you think would it be weird if I did an acupuncture treatment live on your show? And he was like, no, I think it would be great. Let's do it. And he got the highest views of any episode that he did that year. And we got new patients just from that 30-minute episode. And I think now between me and my associate, we've been back 5 or 6 times for different interviews. But the point is, it's really not hard to get on smaller local media. And then you are projected to this wide audience of local people who might really become your patients. It's like there's no use going viral on social media, I don't think personally, because those people are not going to become your patients, right? Those people are from all around the world. But if you can get in front of 1 or 2 local stations, I think you really have a good chance of transforming some of those viewers into patients. Linda asks, if you put up a road sign in a town that is not that familiar with acupuncture, what would you put on the sign in just a few words? I like this question.
I do too, because when I first started, there was no social media and there was no website. So I had a sandwich board. If you don't know what a sandwich board is, it's like this, and it's wood, and you put it in front, and when people drive or walk, they can read whatever you're writing, right? That's what I did to start with. And I think at the time it was like $300 for the board. It's a one-time fee kind of thing. And then you put it out in the morning and you take it out at the end of the day kind of thing, right? And it falls over when it's really windy. But anyway. So if you had a sign that people could read, mine, because again, like I said, I love women's health. So mine said, struggling with fertility. That's literally asking a question. And I don't have to say, oh, I do acupuncture. It's like, when people are struggling with their health, they don't care what you do as long as you can help them, really. So obviously, I put my name below and it says Clara Cohen, licensed acupuncturist kind of thing. It had the phone number because you can call me. But basically, it's a call to action. So if you can't put everything on that sign. So if you're doing everything, you can't. So you got to decide what you want to do that you think people in your area would be mostly interested in. So first, I would say, pick something. Could be pain, could be, like I said, I did fertility. But if it was pain, for example, are you in chronic pain? Call me. That's simple. And then below Clara Cohen, your number, licensed acupuncturist. Now they know you're an acupuncturist, you're in chronic pain, right? You could put more. I've seen sign where people will say, have you tried acupuncture for, and then they'll put 3 things, right? I don't know, fertility, chronic pain, and then let's say another one, digestive issues. And then you'll say, make an appointment today or call for if you have questions or something. Give them a call to action, right? So for me, it was, are you struggling with fertility? Call me. That's it.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say start with something that you really love to treat. If you have a specialty, I know in a lot of countries, people can't use the phrase that they specialize, but if it was fertility, for example, and I was creating a giant sign for the front of your building, I think I would probably do like natural fertility care or natural fertility support, and then the name of the business, Ageless Acupuncture, and then the website at the bottom. But definitely focusing on the symptom that you want to address, right? So instead of just saying acupuncture and your phone number, you have to give people a reason to sit up and take notice. So that's why you want to either emphasize your specialty, whoever you want to treat more of, or like Clara recommended, think about what do most people in your community need, and then ask yourself, how can I state that in just a couple words? But I love this question because it really helps us emphasize the importance of centering the potential patient in our marketing and thinking about what is the benefit to them? Why should they care about our marketing? And how do we get their attention? And we do that by really talking about them and their symptoms and the outcome that they would like, right? And so yes, creating a sign like that is a very condensed way to do that. Great question. So for your social media audit, I know there were a couple people who volunteered in the beginning and put their handle out there.
So this is Nancy's Instagram handle and Instagram account. I love Soaring Spirit Wellness. So you do acupuncture, you do Reiki. I love that you put your face. That is fantastic. So people get to know who you are, because that's really important, right? There's a lot of faceless account out there. People need to know who you are. They're going to connect to you. I always say I'm online. I don't look particularly pretty. I don't have straight teeth. I have a French accent. It doesn't matter what you look like. People want to connect to you. So I love that you put your face in there in a lot of places. So this is awesome. So this says Soaring Spirit Wellness, and this says that too. So repeating this from your handle to here, is Soaring Spirit, this account is for the whole clinic, or is it yours to promote your treatment?
No, it's just me.
Perfect. So that's what I wanted. Because your handle is your clinic's name, unless people search online for your clinic name, this here, this part here is search engine. Remember we talk about SEO keyword. This is searchable, your whole name here. So what I would do is I would put Nancy, because that way people know your name, they know who you are, right? Even though here it says Nancy right there, but I would say Nancy. And then next to it, what's the town you practice in? Spotsylvania.
We call it Spotsy.
Spotsy. Okay. So when people are searching, they're going to search for acupuncture or acupuncturist, and then they're going to put the name of the town because that's what they're looking for, right? They're on Google, they're going to search that. I would say Nancy, and then you could say your Spotsy acupuncturist. But you want to put what they're going to Google, and they are going to Google acupuncturist or acupuncture in the town that you are. So if anybody else is listening and you're in Chicago, that's a bigger city, so that's tougher. But let's say it's Mark, your Chicago acupuncturist, or acupuncture Chicago is fine to say that. Now you have so many characters, so you're going to have to play with it because it's only 140 characters, so you might not have enough room. Play with it, but make sure you put your name and what people are going to search. Okay, so I would change that. Even though underneath it says acupuncturist, the underneath part is not searchable. And now when people search, I just read an article that it was like 40% of people now, when they search for something, they don't use Google anymore. They go directly on social media. So that's why it's important, okay? What you want to say in your bio is what you can do for me as someone that's looking to come to see you. Okay. Again, if you're doing weekly live stream class and that's what you want to do here and you want to really emphasis in that, then you're going to have to focus on that. If you want to emphasis on how you can help people maybe relieve stress, you could say, I help you relieve stress through acupuncture, weekly yoga live stream, Reiki. But you want to say what you do, for what purpose, using what tools. So again, what you do, for what purpose, using what tools. So if I was somebody that likes to treat fertility, because that's what I do, I would say I support your fertility journey through safe and natural acupuncture and Chinese medicine. Because if I go in there, I'm like, oh, she has yoga weekly live stream class. Oh, that's good. Okay. When is that weekly? Is it on Tuesday? Is it on Wednesday? I have no idea. Okay. So maybe they're going to DM you and ask you that, right? But make sure you really say what you do, for whom, using what tool, who you can help. If it was for pain, you could say something like, I help you enjoy life injury-free with acupuncture and Chinese medicine, right? It could be that. So play with this. Now, the second thing is you need a call to action. When people take the time after they saw your nice reel and they take the time to look at your bio to see if you can help them more, give them a call to action, meaning in that bio, it could say, book an appointment now, join my yoga class, and put an arrow down to click the link. So maybe your yoga class is advertised there, or whatever you want them to do, to book an appointment, to DM me, whatever it is that you want to do. But give them a call to action, a CTA. So that's really important that you guys do that. I will show you mine. So this is what I do. I provide Made Easy Acupuncture and Chinese Medicine resources, online course, video, and PDF. Who is my audience? Practitioners and students. And then I give the call to action. Access it all here. Pointing, get that, click here, you get all the free resources, okay? I've seen an account where this is the logo, which is very nice, and then the person has post and you never see their face. You gotta have to put your face somewhere. So if you don't put your face on your post, you gotta have to put your face up here because people connect to people, not companies. That's really important. And then when it comes to your post, you do a lot of reels, which I love, which is awesome, because reels are gonna be more popular than anything else. And you could see if I look at which one did really well, but let's see this. Needles and Nidra this weekend at Portal Therapy, Frederick Yoga. And okay, so I like that you do that and you explain what's going on and what you're doing. This is really good. Keep doing things like this where you educate people. So for example, if it says Needles and Nidra this weekend, if I don't know what Nidra is, because maybe I don't, right? Then that would be great if you explain. Have you ever tried Yoga Nidra? This is what it does. This is what it is. Start educating people on what you do. So that's going to be really useful to educate the world on what you do. So here is great. Obviously, you got engagement here. I love it. You did get engagement because you asked people. But look how you never answered anybody. See what I mean? So I would like this, which you did. And then I would reply and I'm like, that's awesome. If you know this person, obviously you would know and you're like, I know, I love it too. Or you could say yes, this person saying Yogini, yes. You're like, okay, have you done cupping? Ask question, engage, ask question to people. Hot fire, you're like, yeah, hot fire, it feels so good. Have you ever tried it? And engage and answer. Now, here's the thing. When you answer those, instead of 5 comments, you got 10. The algorithm's like, oh, lots of comments. Let's show this video to more people. The more you engage, the more people are going to see your video, right? That's the name of the game. So make sure you do and take the time to answer people. And I know it takes time. Just go and do this 10 minutes in the morning. Just answer all your comments, all your DM, and then you're done for the day. That's it. It doesn't have to be too long, okay? Too long because I know Michelle has to do a website, but hopefully that was useful for everybody. Your bio is super important. This is really when people decide to follow because you can help them and eventually DM you or click on your services and make an appointment. In here, continue to educate people and make sure you reply to comments. So thanks for sharing your handle, Nancy. I'm just going to answer some question. Linda, how often would we be recommending people to come back? I know this depends a bit of what we're treating, but is there a kind of general guideline? So my personal one, what I do in general is I tell people, depending obviously, like you said, it depends what it is. If they just sprain their ankle, then it's easy. But if it's a chronic issue that they've had for quite a while, what I said to people is, and I would like to see you at least 3 times. Because there's no point saying you need to come 10 times, you need to come 6 times. We don't know. So I always say, give me about 3 sessions. And as we progress, we'll see some improvement. If you don't see any improvement, then that might not be for you. I say that every single time. So people know they're not committed for so long because then after 10 sessions, like they would go, okay, I've expected more, right? Expectation is super important. So I always say that, give me 3 treatments and then let's see if it doesn't give you any change, any progress, then that might be not for you. And people appreciate that. Let's say they come to see you for fertility. One of the questions they'll say is, how do I know if it's helping? Because I'm still not pregnant because I'm in the middle of my cycle. That makes sense. So I always say, it's not just about that. It's a whole health. So if your energy is better or you sleep better or you feel less frustrated and less irritable, less stressed, or your digestion is better, you feel more calm, then we're going and we're progressing, and this is fantastic. So people get that when you explain that. And then what I do is when they come for the first time, within 48 hours, I give them a call. I don't email, I don't text, I give them a call. Now they either pick up or don't. Most of the time nowadays, they don't pick up. So I just say, hey, Jenna, I just wanted to see how you felt after treatment, or if you had any question, because I know we talked about a lot of things, let me know. Otherwise, if you don't have any question, I'll see you next Tuesday at 6. That way you remind them of their appointment, you ask them how they felt. So they're thinking of how they felt. Oh, I felt really good. Because if they come, let's say, a week later, and you say, how did you feel after treatment? They're like, I don't know, nothing changed. But if you call them within 48 hours, at that time, they're like, oh yeah, I slept really well. But then a week later, they might not remember. And then it shows that you actually care too. It's really important. People really appreciate that. So then they come back, and then you can do your assessment and see how maybe they felt 10% better of whatever they came for. Maybe they slept really well. They came for insomnia. They slept quite well that night, but the next night it came back. Great. We had some progress. So hopefully I answered your question.
So I have Jenna's beautiful website pulled up. And the first thing I want to say is I would like to high five you through the internet for having your book now buttons at the top of the page. It's the first thing that you see. So that is super. So if you land on someone's website before you scroll, this section is called Above the Fold, and it's the most important real estate of your website, because this is really the section where people decide, are they going to stay and learn more, or are they going to bounce? Are they going to look for something else? And so in this section, I love to see two things. One is the book now buttons, at least one. And the other is I like to know right away where you're located and who it is that you help. So one thing I would recommend is maybe in this section, instead of saying welcome, you could say you've got 2 offices. So in Bricks and Allies. Okay. And do you have a specialty?
No, I'm a brand new practitioner. I just started practicing like a month ago, so still
Congrats. Amazing.
thank you. Thank you. Also, Clara, I'm a huge super fan and I love Haley Owens.
Oh my God. Awesome. Woo!
Okay, continue.
So I would say, since you don't have a particular patient like specialty yet, you could just say acupuncture in Bricks and Allies in this section. And that can be really helpful for SEO to have the names of the cities or towns that you practice in a heading like this above the fold of your website. And it also really helps people to, at a glance, know where you're located, what you offer, etc. So for the people listening who do feel like they have a specialty, they have a particular population that they like to treat, you could get more specific and say fertility, acupuncture for fertility support in Rochester, New York. Or, for example, the way that we have it set up on my clinic website is cosmetic acupuncture, pain management, and women's health in Seneca Falls, New York. And so the idea here is that immediately upon landing, before they even scroll, the people who are within your target demographic are going to be able to identify themselves on your website. And it's very good for SEO, because if you think about what are people Googling, they're probably looking for like fertility acupuncture near me or fertility acupuncture in Bricks. They might be looking for like natural fertility solutions in Victoria, BC, right? So think about what are they Googling and how can you incorporate some of those keywords onto your homepage above the fold. I also want to say I love your design. It's so unique. It's so fun. And I think that it really helps to have a design that stands out because it's so memorable, right? A lot of acupuncturists have a very similar pastel colored vibe, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the beauty of doing something really different is people will absolutely not forget your really cool website. And the other thing that I really like is, Clara mentioned this multiple times, is that you have your face on here, right? People love to get to know the person who's going to be putting needles in them. I always think of it like this. We're very social animals as humans. So it's, I want to put my eyeballs on your eyeballs and decide, do I trust you? Right? And so that's why
Mhm.
having those pictures are really great. So as I scroll down, I think over here, I would add your book now buttons instead, because you've got my offerings. And as we scroll down, those are also right here. So they don't have to go too far to find those. And in general, if you can have your book now buttons above the fold more than once, and this is slightly below the fold, that's okay. I think it's really helpful. The other main thing I would recommend for your landing page is just more book now buttons as people are scrolling down.
Okay.
As we go all the way down to your website, you don't have any more, the bottom of your website, we don't have any more book now buttons. And for example, this one that says, let's work together, I thought this might be a book now button with a unique call to action, but when we click on it, it brings them to a contact form. So ideally, that would just bring them right to your schedule. If you want someone to make an appointment, I love for those buttons to go directly to your schedule now, like I think you're using Jane, for it to go right to your
Yeah.
EHR. And it's a little tough because in your case, you're always going to have the two buttons right next to each
Yeah.
other for the two different locations. But you've done a good job, even like up here. Let's see, figuring out how to get them next to each other. So it would just be thinking about the design for how they can sit next to each other and have it continue to look good on your page.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I would recommend for your homepage is to have a section where you say, what do we treat? And then list your top, it could be, we'll say 3 to 6 symptoms or conditions that you really love to treat. And I've got an example here. So this is Cucamonga Acupuncture and Wellness. This is a great, really good acupuncture website, and I love what she's done right here. So she's got this section, what we treat. She's got the 8 things she really loves to address with acupuncture. And then she went one step further and she wrote a page about each of these things, and you can click through. But the reason I like this is it's very clear for people who visit your website. If they have these symptoms, you can help them. And it includes the keywords that they would be searching. But overall, I would say great job with your website. Again, I love your design. Very cool.
Okay, Jenna. So one of the things that I wanted to mention is that 90% of people are gonna search on their phone and not necessarily on their computer or laptop. Michelle was talking about the above the fold, and a lot of people were confused. What that meant, this is above the fold on the phone, right? So we said it's without scrolling. That's what we learned. So this is above the fold. So when people land on your website, this is what they see first. So keep that in mind, that beautiful design you have might be a bit big. And then just scroll and play with your website on your phone to see what it looks like, because it's a lot of scrolling to get to places. So make sure that you feel comfortable what it looks like on the phone, because that is going to be how people are going to find you first. So we talked about this, and explaining traditional Chinese medicine for me should be at the bottom. It should not be at the top, because I think most people that are looking for you know what TCM and acupuncture is. Otherwise, they would not be there. They were looking for an acupuncturist. So I would put that somewhere for sure. But what you want to do is more, oh, you can help scar tissue. Oh, you can help with this. You want to put more things that are going to be towards what I'm looking for. I have a lot of dysmenorrhea. Can she help with that? Okay. What is traditional Chinese medicine? Yeah, I just want to know, can you help me with that? Okay. So that is what you want to focus more higher. So I just wanted to share that in my phone, because the phone is quite important. So Michelle did a great job. I just wanted to remind everybody that most people are on their phone nowadays. Think of when you search something yourself, are you more on your phone or your computer?
Thank you again to our volunteers. And in the beginning, I had mentioned that I have a class, and I wanted to share a little bit about that with you. So the name of the class is Acupuncture Marketing School. It's the same name as my podcast, trying to keep it easy to remember. And there is a self-paced and a live version. Self-paced is all pre-recorded videos, and you go through it on your own time. In a nutshell, what I am teaching inside Acupuncture Marketing School is everything we've been talking about today. So how do you get more patients, and how do you get more patients consistently so that you have a thriving practice and you're not constantly worried about where is my next patient coming from? And it's also very important to me, as someone who absolutely loves marketing, to help instill a sense of confidence in your marketing, because I really believe that marketing is just a tool that we as acupuncturists can use to reach more patients, individually in our communities, but also on like a larger scale. How can we get acupuncture in front of as many people as possible and help them? And one of the ways we can do that is through really good marketing. But a lot of acupuncturists just don't like marketing. They never learned it in school, and so their confidence is very low. So they're not that willing to experiment or try. So one of my goals for this class is to help you feel confident in your marketing, so that when you think about trying something new, you can process, okay, I already understand how this works, and I know why we would be doing this, and I know how to apply it to my unique practice. Okay, so basically, I walk you through in a very linear fashion with workbooks. I'm super nerdy. I love making workbooks and checklists. I walk you through how to set up really strong, effective marketing for your practice. And the way that I teach marketing is that there's two sides to it. So there are the marketing foundations, and then there's the visibility strategies. And often when we think about marketing, we're very focused on the visibility piece. So that would be things like social media and search engine optimization, et cetera. We really need to have a strong foundation in place first to make the visibility strategies work even better. So foundations are things like getting your target market, your marketing message, and your branding really dialed in. And again, feeling confident in it. That makes it that when you use the visibility strategies later on, they're much more effective and efficient. So you get to do less marketing for more results. Okay, so not a lot of courses teach the foundation and the visibility strategies, which I really think is a shame. So in Acupuncture Marketing School, I walk you through both. I really focus on marketing that is built on building trust and relationships and really connecting with people in your community. And that's what we've been talking about a lot today, right? Like every way that you can think of to reach people in your community is built on some sort of relationship and helping them trust you enough to put needles in them, to share their personal health information, to make a financial investment. So that's the way that I love to teach marketing, from that angle. It's really about being yourself and connecting with the real people in your community. And again, we are going to walk through the foundations. So your target audience, your marketing message, and your branding. These are usually the things that people have the most trouble with when they're doing it by themselves. So I walk you through it step by step. Again, very linear. That's the way that I tend to learn best. So I find that a lot of my students learn that way as well. First, we create this, and then we build on it, and here's why we're doing X, Y, Z, etc. And then we're also going to create a marketing strategy that is repeatable and that is built for your unique practice. I am not a fan of the marketing strategies that are like a formula. When someone says, I use this to build my practice, and if you just copy this, you'll get the exact same results. I feel like everyone's community and everyone's specialty and their practice are all very unique and special. So we want to create a marketing strategy that is built around the people you want to serve and the unique community that you're located in. Okay, and so we will do that in the second half of the class. And then also in the second half, after we've got your foundations in place, then we go through some of the visibility strategies, email marketing, search engine optimization, etc. Okay, so I'll share what works for most people. But again, all of this is based on you learning to market in a way that fits with your personality and reflects your values. Because I'm an introvert. Clara mentioned she's an introvert. I always tell people You do not have to do marketing that you do not like. If you hate the idea of networking, I'm never going to tell you like you have to do networking. Instead, I like to think about how can we get really creative so you can get visible in your community in a way that is sustainable. Because marketing requires repetition, right? So you have to choose something that you can see yourself doing over and over again, right? And that means it just has to align with your personality, your strengths, and what's important to you. Of course, you know this already. You get to go through at your own pace, and you have instant access to all the lessons. And the class are worth 15 PDA credits. And here's a quick look at the curriculum. It's pretty dense, which is why I have that very linear format. I'm walking you through everything. We talk about email marketing, building a lead magnet, how to launch a new sale or service at your office and have it be a success, search engine optimization, etc. There have been over 550 alumni in Acupuncture Marketing School, and it has more than 50 five-star reviews. So if you go to the self-paced class webpage and scroll all the way down, you can see all of those reviews down at the bottom. I am a big fan of teaching you everything you need to know to really make a difference in your marketing to make it effective.
Like I said at the beginning, we're not taught business, and it's something that I remember when I was in school in my third year. I did 5-year program, a doctorate program in Vancouver. And in my third year, I went to volunteer in somebody's practice every Friday afternoon to get some hours for my clinic hours. We were supposed to volunteer somewhere. So I volunteered every Friday afternoon for a few months in this guy's clinic who was very busy and had quite a lot of patients. So I learned a lot, which was awesome. I absolutely loved the way he ran his clinic. And one time we were sitting, I said, wow, you're so successful. I can't wait to start practicing and changing people's life and helping people. And he said, Clara, make sure that you understand that you have two hats. The 50% hat is TCM and the 50% hat is business. And I remember in my head thinking, that's ridiculous. Like literally the arrogant me with someone that was super successful. I thought in my head, all I need is TCM. I don't need no business. I'm not interested in business. That's ridiculous. Guess what? I started practicing. I had 0 patience. And then I remember what he said. And I was like, oh no, I need to learn the business. So I went and did this all on my own. There was no internet, nothing. I had to read a bunch of books. I had to go to meeting. It took so long to learn all this. I didn't know nothing, like literally nothing. So when you have courses or what Michelle does, it is accessible all over the world, wherever you live, even if you're in a small town. So to me, that's just such a no-brainer, because if we don't understand how to promote who we are, then we don't change lives. And that's just really sad. So he was right, unfortunately. And you can make it fun. It's a lot of fun to learn marketing. After a while, you're like, okay, let's test this out. Let's see what happened. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, wow, I did this and it really worked. Wow. It's more important than I thought it would be, obviously. Duh.
Yeah, I agree. And I love what you said about marketing being fun. I think it's fun because I had a marketing mentor who was just an absolutely effervescent, enthusiastic person, very much like you, Clara. And she taught me that marketing could be very creative and it didn't have to be so serious and such hard work. And I worked with her for 3 years. We did a trade for cosmetic acupuncture and her marketing expertise. And eventually I realized that no one ever has this opportunity in our industry. So that's why I created Acupuncture Marketing School, because I realized that how can people have access to this information without having a marketing mentor dropped into their lap? And as you said, bless the internet for making this available all over the world.
Yeah, because I wish there was someone that had a course like you offering when I came out. And people always say, oh, go look for a mentor. And people contact me all the time and say, hey, can you teach me how to grow a practice and stuff? And I'm like, I don't have the time.
Yeah.
That's why when you have a course, you can go at your own pace. You can ask questions. You can do the live. You can do the self-paced, whatever. If I see and help one person, it's not a big impact. But when you can do this as a group and help each other, the impact is so much better. And I think that's a disservice of TCM school not to teach business. But it's something that every school should have, because if their alumni are successful, then the industry is successful and the school will be staying open.
Yes. Yeah, it's very
know,
true.
it's just a no-brainer, but they don't do that. So, somebody has to do it. And thanks, Michelle, for doing it.
My pleasure. Yeah. And thank you. I feel like you also spend a lot of time teaching marketing in our industry. And yeah, as you said, it's very much needed. I would love to help more people. And I love teaching marketing. I know that's so unique in our industry, but I think it's a ton of fun. I'd like to help as many people as possible.
And Michelle's been doing it for a long time. And that's how we met on Instagram
Yes.
way, way back when.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Clara, for being here. This has been super fun. I hope everyone had at least one thing that they took away from this that they're going to apply as soon as they can.
Michelle and I talk recently, and I was like, let's do something together. That'll be fun and stuff. So you can get two different kind of point of view, or two different kind of opinion, and the more, the better, because something will resonate with you. And I hope that whatever we both shared today, something resonated, even if it was one thing and you're going to start taking action today, then great. We did what we came here to do, which is to promote you so you in turn can help people. So thank you guys.
Thanks again, Clara. Bye, everyone. Have a great
Bye,
day.
guys.